Well, I was born in a Christian family. My parents, they were trying to raise me as much as they could as a Christian. But still, because I was living in Morocco, and Morocco is a Muslim country. So inside our small house, we are Christian, outside we are Muslims. And actually our society take us as a Muslim. And in school, with a big family and everybody, they were like, no, you are a Muslim. They don't know that we were Christians. So, growing up, I had this fight against me. Why my parents, they choose something different than the other people? For me, it was like, I wanted them to be same as the others. I don't want to face this challenge. In our house, there is something, and the other outside, we're not accepted the way we are. We are rejected. I remember at some points when I grow up a little bit, maybe I think 10 years or 11 years, one day I came home and I said, Mom, I decided not to be Christian, and I don't want to follow what you are following.
How did she react?
Well, she was actually a wise woman, and she is still a wise woman. She said, well, I will continue praying for you. I will not contradict you or force you to do something. You go and you search, and wherever you find your peace and wherever your heart is peaceful, you can, you do what you want. And actually, by giving me this option, and not feeling forced to follow them, and it made a big relief. So anyway, I tried to be a Muslim, and I remember I tried to put the veil and start to pray, but deep inside of me, I felt like, well, this is something stupid. I mean, I don't belong here.
Yes.
It's always a voice inside of me telling me there's no other way but Jesus Christ. It's something deeper. Maybe my parents, they rooted inside of me, but I remember when I was like kneeling like this, and I remember it's something inside of me saying, oh, no, there is no other way than Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So my fight continued until I reached the teenagehood. And I remember it was really difficult because, the society, they don't accept us. And I could not confess and tell everybody, my friends, that I am a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. And because I was rejected and everything, they pushed me away. I remember the teachers, many times I was expelled from the classroom because I discussed things, and why is this, and why is this, and I'm trying to defend the Christian faith, and I could see the teachers that were like, oh, what is this? Why is she saying like this? And many times I was kicked out of the classroom, and when your friends start to see, then they start to put you aside, and so it's kind of a big war inside, when you don't know, your identity. You don't know where you belong. Are you a Muslim or are you a Christian? Because I was living in kind of schizophrenic. I can't be myself with my friends. The deeper things when I celebrate, for example, Christmas, or I can't share that. And in the same time, when my friends ask me, do you fast? Oh, did you buy the sheep for Eid, the sacrifice? And then I start to think, we don't do that.
Yeah.
So sometimes I had to lie to be accepted among my friends. And anyway, so all of this pushed me into being a rebellious against my family and God. And to one point, I decided, okay, I just don't want to be in between both. I can't just stand living in both ways. I need to be either really a good Christian following Jesus Christ, or I will follow the enemy. That's it. I can't be, in both.
was it that you're wanting to be a Muslim? Did it have to do anything with God, or was it only that you wanted to be like the others?
It's nothing with God. Yes. It's just the desire to belong to this society, the desire not to be rejected, the desire to just belong, to find my identity in my society. Because if you see everybody is doing something and you are the only one who's doing the opposite, and by this opposite, you're not accepted in this society. So I wanted to, and I was a child, I didn't have this power to fight. So it was over me, over my capacity.
Yes.
Until the point where I said, no, I have to choose either God or the enemy. And I remember I had a good, deep friend that later on he became my husband.
Yes.
I went to him. He was a believer and he was a pastor at that time. And I asked him, I have two choices and I'm really lost and I need to decide which way, either God or the enemy. And I'm confused. I don't have the power, the energy to follow God. So many things is, like pulling me down. And I remember wisely he said, I trust your strength. If you are going to follow God, you will be fully following God with all strength you have. And if you want the enemy, you will do the same. You're not in between person. You are either this way or this way. I would recommend for you to choose this way, but choose God. But if you want the enemy, I would still not give up on you. And I remember when he told me this, it's just something clicked in my mind. Wow, this person has so much belief in me that I don't believe in myself to be able to follow Jesus. So it was like, wow. And of course, I remember I remember many times, like I woke up during the night and I go to the bathroom. I could see my mom kneeling down, praying and crying to God, God, please, I need my daughter to come back to you. I need all my kids, because we were really living in very tight and difficult society. To survive as a Christian wasn't that easy. Sorry. But I could see that. And these pictures, it's like pushed me into God's arms. Oh, wow, this is so much worth it. But then when I said, okay, God, I'm going to follow you. And you will give me the strength to follow you, because it's just, I was so deep into the sin and deep into the world. I need a big strength to pull me. And God was faithful, actually, and He is faithful always. And I decided to be fully dedicated to God and nothing but God until I met with Him in heaven.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you're not the only teenager who was and is actually at the moment struggling with the same thing. Maybe the person is born also in a Christian family and struggling what to choose. Is this faith my faith?
Yes.
What would you like to say and to maybe encourage to those people who are exactly in that crossroads? What to choose? I don't know. Is God real for me or what?
I will tell them we are born with the need of God. We are born in this need of much greater and higher and powerful God we need in our life. So I would tell them, yes, you may lose your way. You may think Jesus is not real or God is not real, and you may think, oh, this is just stupid things, or like these believers, they don't, or this. But it is true. God is true, and He is moving, and God is true. If you are in any way, you ask Him, He will answer you. Just ask honestly for God. He will answer you. He would never close His door to anybody who's knocking His door. So it is real, to be tempted with the world. The world is not forever, is not lasting, like forever. I always said, living in a sin like this, pig living in the dirt, or like in a dirt place anyway. Any animals lives in a dirt place. And I know what does it mean to live in a dirt, in a bad place. So the world is really, without God, is a bad place. Without God is really a dirt. It may look, beautiful, but actually it's just a dirt. Yeah. You only know the cleanliness and the holiness with God. And once you know it, you would never like to go back to where you were, so.
So let's talk about the situation. You mentioned that your family was almost the only Christian family in your neighborhood, and then you get to learn to know other Christian families, and you started this house church at your home. If we think of the state of Morocco, what would you say? Is there a freedom of religion? You told me earlier that you were not able to vocalize it, to say that I am a Christian, my family is a Christian. So what is it, what is like in general for Christians in Morocco, the situation?
Well, actually, the situation in Morocco is not, to be clear, we don't have freedom of religion. We are all considered as Muslims. For example, when I got married, I had to go through the Sharia paper, being married on the name on Allah and His Prophet. This is still, until now, I have it on my marriage certificate. I'm not allowed to get married in a church or secular law or anything. When I had my kids, for example, I wanted to name them Christian names. I'm not allowed. My second child, I remember I wanted to name him so badly, Daniel. And I had a prophecy over him that he is coming. And I wanted so bad to name him Daniel. I couldn't. And then I had to twist and I had to search another way, and I found Danny. Danny in Arabic means like closer to the heart and closer. So I convinced my husband, said, I want Danny, I want Danny. Then when he went to register my boy, he said, oh, no, but Danny is not Arabic. I said, no, it is. Look, look at the dictionary, it means like closer. But I know inside of my heart it's Daniel. So this is just a simple thing to tell you that, no, we are considered as Muslims. We got married based on that. I have many examples about not being able to exercise our freedom as a Christians. For example, they have been like, for example, different church houses. Some of the church houses, they had actually the people, like the policeman, or they enter into their houses while they are having a church gathering. They break the door and they enter. They confiscate all their mobiles and laptops, and so from time to time, it's like if you want, a storm comes into the Morocco, and then sometimes it calms down. But by the law, we are considered as Muslims.
Would you say that the Christians are under a persecution in Morocco? If we compare Morocco, for example, to Egypt, where we know that there is a strong persecution against Christians, could you say that the situation is similar to Egypt, or is it different?
It's a little bit different. Morocco is a kingdom, and in our society, in our country, the king, in any way, he tried to calm things down, and in his best interests and the interests of our country, like, to be part of the human rights and to try to show up to the whole world, to the rest of the world, that yes, we have human rights and this. So it's calculations. It's more or less, it's calculation. They don't overstep, but in the same time, we're not free. There is this controversy between, they want to be developed country, human rights country, but in the same time, because we are going under the Sharia law. The Sharia doesn't give any rights to change even your belief.
But as we know today, there are quite a good number of those house churches working. And I have heard that you have had quite a big part of being a person developing the life of the house churches through music.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, when we were really, I consider myself a lucky person to be able to be with a wonderful group of Christians, a good believers and true believers and good hearts, and it was like a desire to start worshiping God with our own music, with our own words, the Darija and Moroccan Arabic dialect, and to be able, because we felt we need to connect, to adopt our Christianity to Moroccan way. Most of the Christianity we had, it's like it comes from the Middle East, or the songs and everything. It comes from the Middle East. Yes, we sing that, but sometimes we felt it's not us.
Yes.
It's not our mother language. So this was a movement starting like writing and putting music and singing with a Moroccan dialect. And even, now we are working also on having a Bible in our Moroccan dialect.
Yeah.
So this was actually a turning point in the church meetings and in the history of our house churches, to be able to worship and connect with God with our own mother language. So I like that personally.
Very good. If we think of the Moroccan church, you said that it has had to, because of the pressure of the society, it has had to kind of hide itself.
Yes.
But I would say that now, this year in June, the page turned and you decided to take a bolder road, and also yourself are part of a new TV series called Moroccan and Christian.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
Well, this was a dream come true, and also it felt like it was God's plan, because when the idea was born between brothers and sisters, and nobody had like objection. It was, oh yes, and it felt that everybody felt the need. This is the time. This is the time to just say, yes, we exist. We are Christian and Moroccan Christian. We are here. This is what we do. Give a knowledge and try to raise awareness to among the people that this is who we are as a Christians. We are not a danger to the society. We exist. We are normal people. We just love God and just love this country, and we want you to accept us. We want you to embrace us, not to, we are here and we are a fact. And it is a fact that Muslims are leaving Islam and becoming Christians. And this is the truth. So I was actually honored and blessed to be part of this project. I think this one is a history making in the church in the Moroccan church. And based on the feedbacks, the sound I got in Morocco about this, it was amazing. It was amazing. Yes, we got some people, they were like, but it was amazing how many voices. Yes, we are Christians. And we thought we were just alone. And now, thank God, there's brothers and sisters like us. It gave a voice to these people that they were thinking they were just by themselves. I remember I got one email from one lady, and she really touched my heart. She said, I'm a Moroccan, and I became a Christian 10 years ago, and my family rejected me. I lost my brothers and sisters, and now I'm so thankful. I found you. I found my family in Christ, my Moroccans. And then I sent back to her and said, oh, you're welcome to your family. You are a part of this big family, the Moroccan. She said, oh, I'm married to this man. His name is this. I have 2 boys. Their name is this. I live in this place. And this.
Yes.
I was amazed how much the information she gave us. And she was like lost and found, like someone, she found her family where she belongs. And we got actually so much of these these feedbacks from people. It's amazing. You feel like, yes, you are on the right path, and it has to be done. And this is what we should, do for the time,
These video clips were aired on internet in June 2016.
Yes.
And your opening line, I, Iman, a Moroccan Christian, love you all. It kind of shook also the secular media in Morocco.
Yes. I was shocked and surprised about the reaction. I wasn't expecting that the secular media will pay that much attention about that. And I was like, oh, what's going on? It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But then, we had one of the famous newsletter in Morocco. They kept, they wrote about us, from time to time. And it felt like, wow, something is going on, And in general, you don't feel, they didn't address hate speech or against us. No, actually most of them, they were translating what we are saying into their own language and saying, oh yes, this is, now we saw Moroccans, speaking out, asking for their right, and this is it's a movement. Finally, Moroccans, they are Christians, they are speaking, and it felt like, wow, these minorities awake now, and they are speaking, and now we have to pay attention what they are saying. And actually they are paying attention about what we are saying and waiting. I think sometimes they're waiting, okay, what's new, what's gonna happen.
Yeah. So you kind of got the even free advertisement.
Yes. Yes, actually, good. Yes.
Well, if we think of the Islamic society,
yes,
you cannot ignore that there are also those who don't like what you are doing. So were you afraid of, before you stepped in front of the camera, that what could happen?
Well, I didn't give it that much of thought, if it's gonna be dangerous or not. But for me, it felt right. It felt in the moment, and this is what God is leading us to do for now. For me, I felt like there is nothing really could be worse, Yes, we did get very, very serious feedbacks. I remember some of them just, we want your blood, our swords is waiting for you. Or jihad, sometimes they told us, you need ISIS, we need ISIS in Morocco to, this kind of speech. And actually there is many of them, no. But the truth, for me, it's still just, I think it's just words. And it may not make sense for me unless if I see some action or something but most of all, I feel if God allow us to do this now, He will protect us. Yes. And it's just sometimes, the enemy, when they are losing, they just try to,
distract
do anything.
You.
Yeah, anything. But I believe to stay in focus, do what God is telling us, and we will defeat the enemy. That's it. So no other voices with,
Yeah. You told about this positive feedback about those silent Christians who now find out that there are other Christians, and that must have been the positive feedback that you probably wanted and expected already. But what about the future? Is this series going to continue?
Well, I hope so. I really hope so. I think this is just the beginning. There's a long way to go. A long way to go introducing ourselves as a Christians, asking for our freedom, our rights to exist, our rights to do our Christianity, to exercise our Christianity, to be free in Morocco. And I think it's a long journey for the government to accept us, but mostly for the people. Yeah. I really want people to just start to think, wow, it's okay to be a Christian, and it's okay to be a Muslim, and it's okay. It's our freedom. It's the basics of the human rights, basics of our freedom to be able to worship God, to choose what to do, to worship, you know. Yeah. Most of them, they look to Moroccans just like, oh, you sold your identity, you sold your patriotism. I think it's correct. Yeah. Some, to be Moroccan for cheaper. Sometimes they think that we became a Christian to get outside of Morocco or for money, and many times it feels like they really underestimate the fight that every Muslims go through to become a Christian. Yeah. You have to get away from your family, from your own blood, from where you grow, your culture, everything, the who you are. You put everything beside. That's a bold, that's a brave to become a Christian in a Muslim society.
I know in Finland there are a lot of Christians who are praying for Middle East and Muslim world, and also for Morocco.
Yes.
I'm sure all this that you tell is a positive news to those people. What is the main and the most important prayer request you would like to leave to those people praying for Morocco?
Yeah, well, continue to pray for Morocco. Yes. Never stop. Yeah. Thank you for praying for Morocco. That shows that we are one body and we're in one unity. Yes. And that's shows, the word of God when every two, Biden something on earth, it's going to be the same in heavens. And if we release something on earth, it's going to be. And when people, from different places pray for other countries, it's happening actually. It is happening. So I pray that you continue to pray for us, continue to pray for this Maghribi and Masihi, this program that we are part of it. We believe this is a start for a new era, a new timing in Morocco. I believe, personally, that God is raising from North Africa and Middle East Muslim backgrounds, believers that are going to change the history of the world. This is my belief, and it's going to go to Europe. It's going to go to be in. It's the only people for me that will defeat Islam. It's the one who suffered most and opened the eyes in Islam. They know what does it mean. So that's one of the things where I feel like, yes, we have to do the work. So keep praying. Thank you.
Thank you, Iman, so much for this interview. May God bless you.
Thank you.